All right, so welcome back to another session of the weekly forecast. Okay, so let's get started. Right, let's start off with ES as usual. This is the weekly chart for ES, and this level here, 4611.25. Okay, if the market is to continue bullishness, I will look for price to fill up this level here. Okay, so basically, essentially, this fair value gap right here, this inefficiency, okay, because price was not able to completely fill up this area here on the weekly time frame, okay, and if it was to push higher, then I will be looking at this area here. This will be a swing high, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. And because I am anticipating some sort of a higher time frame retracement that would result in a lower time frame reversal. Okay, so because we closed the week way below 50% of the entire range, right here, it's below 50%. So I'm kind of anticipating price to give some sort of a retracement, taking out some sell side liquidities before even considering going higher. So because the last purge of sell side liquidity is over here, okay, over here, this area here, right? But let's zoom into the daily time frame. Right, so on the daily time frame, we can use this as the last sell side purge, and then I'll use that to measure the current dealing range that we are in right now. And 50% would be right at the consequent encroachment of this weekly fair value gap, which would be within this daily inefficiency right here, fair value gap, okay, that has a bullish order block within. So heading into next week, I'm expecting some form of retracements for ES into this level here, okay, maybe slightly deeper into this daily fair value gap, and then we see um, does it want to close and trade below this weekly fair value gap, and if so, then we will look for the sell sides here and here. Very simple. Okay, because a swing high has been made on daily, and the the third candle from, okay, let's just use a simpleton, the fourth candle that forms the swing high. So what forms the swing high? A high here, higher high, and a lower high relative to this high here. This is a swing high, and if the fourth candle closes below the candle, the body of the candle that is the swing high candle, then we are in a higher probability of retracing into 50% of the current dealing range. That would be around this daily fair value gap. Okay, so I am anticipating ES to take out sell sides here into this inefficiency right here, which is 50 below 50%, which would be discount. Okay, heading down into the 4 hours. Okay, conveniently, hold on, I think I pressed something on it. Okay, so conveniently we have relative equal lows on the 4 hours, just slightly above the weekly fair value gap that was formed. Okay, so I'm anticipating this area to be the next interest, which means price is going to gravitate down to this lows here, and then I want to see it accelerate down into this inefficiency right here. And right here we also have the breaker. Okay, so inefficiency here and here we will have the 4 hours breaker. So if it closes below this breaker here, then obviously we'll be going for this sell sides right here. This is on the 4 hours. Okay, obviously from here to here you can picture a market maker sell model, right? Consolidation, reaccumulation, distribution, reaccumulation, and then you're going to distribute below the original consolidation that led to this distribution. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at for next week. Okay, so my bias for ES next week would be bearish. Let's head over to NASDAQ. So similarly for NASDAQ, because I'm expecting bearish price action from ES, likewise I will expect bearish price action for NASDAQ. Okay, so for NASDAQ we have this weekly fair value gap right here, and we have the sell sides right here. The thing about NASDAQ is that we have this inversion level. Okay, on the higher time frames. Okay, this is the weekly chart. So we have the inversion level coupled with the breaker, and we have a inefficiency right here. Does it have to reach into the inefficiency? Not really, but it can come down into this inversion fair value gap, and I would like to see it support the price higher. Okay, I'm basically more interested in this fair value gap right here. If it was to um, accelerate down, okay, so from here I would anticipate a move higher to take out the all-time highs for NASDAQ. Okay, so that is what I'm anticipating. So basically something like this into this level here, or maybe even this fair value gap, that would be enough, and then we swing it higher into the all-time highs. All right, but of course we're going to trade this downside price action, right? So heading down into the daily time frame, similar to ES, but it's, Nasdaq is more bearish. So I am using this dealing range right here from this swing low to this swing high. We are already in discount for Nasdaq, right? And I want to see if we can reach lower into the end of the daily fair value gap, the low of the daily fair value gap, right? Into this, I mean not daily but weekly, and then we have this daily fair value gap inefficiency in confluence with the weekly fair value gap. So this is a very nice level here for Nasdaq. Okay, price action. I mean the candles structure on Nasdaq, it's slightly better than ES, right? So because we have a fair value gap, a bearish fair value gap right here, and then we took out sell side right here, I would love for price to come inside this area here, reach into the south, in the CB, and then break down lower into this level here. And then I want to see if it closes and trades below this weekly fair value gap. If so, then I would anticipate similarly, same thing for ES, I would anticipate sell side to be taken out into this liquidity void. And below the liquidity void, we have relative equal lows, and that would accelerate down into the weekly inversion fair value gap. Okay, so obviously I see larger price move potential for Nasdaq as compared to ES. Okay, so trading wise, right now I think I might shift my focus to Nasdaq instead of ES. Okay, so this is the daily levels that I'm interested in. And if we break it down to the 4 hours, even better right here. So because if we come back into this area, this would be the perfect turtle soup, right? You have swing high, higher high, and then you have the low that make the high. You have the swing high here, lower swing high here. Okay, so okay, let's go back to the starting point. Okay, swing high, low, low make a higher high, and then market shifted below the lows here. So essentially, this down close candle will be your breaker. Okay, so I would like to see price come back into this area here, into this trading into this breaker, and then we break down lower. Okay, so that would be the perfect turtle soup setup, selling above this swing high here. Okay, why do I have this line here? Okay, so that would be the perfect turtle soup setup. Okay, reach into discount, return back into premium, sell short, then ride it all the way down. Okay, we have relative equal lows down here on the 4 hours. So very likely Nasdaq is going to overextend to give us a nice price action. Okay, nice price movements. Right, so this is what I'm anticipating for Nasdaq. Okay, from next week, come back up into this area, total soup this high, and then drop. Okay, right. So now let's take a pause and look at the economic calendar for next week, right? Because we are trying to determine when this is going to happen. Okay, we're anticipating that, so we are not reacting to price. We're anticipating something. We're anticipating day probability to occur based on the economic calendar itself. Okay, so next week we have PMI on Monday 9:45, FOMC statement, funds rates. Okay, so we have FOMC next week, and then we have GDP, and we have consumer price index. No, not consumer, but core PCE, whatever it is, but it's a red folder. Okay. Okay, so we have FOMC on Wednesday. That is a very nice catalyst. So what I would prefer, okay, let's let's do a roadmap. Okay, on Monday we're gonna retrace back into the range, and then we're gonna grind higher. On Tuesday and Wednesday, I would like to see the high of the week form, and then from that, Thursday and Friday, we're gonna ride it all the way down. Okay, that is my anticipation for next week. Okay, right. So what invalidates this higher? Obviously, if you trade above this current CP here, right? So nothing is high probability until FOMC it's over. Okay, so basically on Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. New York local time, that should be the start of the high probability bias. Okay, so you're still gonna have to wait for Wednesday. Okay, but it doesn't mean that you can't do intraday trades on Monday and Tuesday, but you just have to be cautious of the you're cautious of the price moving against your initial bias drafted during the weekends. Okay, so yeah, this is what I want to see for for Nasdaq. Okay, all right, so um let's compare SMTs. All right, let's look for SMTs among the three averages to validate this move. Okay, I want to see if there's SMT to validate the move. Okay, so right here, as you can see, this is the 4 hour chart, by the way. So Dow Jones made a higher high as compared to ES and Nasdaq, right? So this high here, right? You should be able to see the the dash vertical line on the two other averages. So this is an indication that smart money is going to reverse, okay, and then it's confirmed by the market structure shift lower. Okay, for Dow Jones, we have yet to have the shift, but let's see if it happens next week. Okay, so there is SMT and there is a market structure shift. So retracements lower, right? Bearishness lower. Bearishness looking for lower market prices are higher probability on the higher time frames in the indices next week. Okay, right. So let's head back to Nasdaq, and I believe I covered. I think I believe I covered everything that I am anticipating for Nasdaq. So let's take a look at the weekly profile here. Okay, this is. Let's see if I have anything missing here. Okay, so on the 1 hour, I'm just going to highlight to you the market maker sell model. So we have the original consolidation right here, we have the reaccumulation right here, and then we have the distribution right here. Moving lower, we have the reaccumulation, and then we're going to distribute, right? We're going to take out this consolidation and this consolidation. Okay, that is the market maker sell model that I'm looking at for ES. All right. Okay, so with that said, let's move on to the dollar index. Hi, I just saw your comment, Daniel. So, you're welcome. You're welcome. Basically, I'm doing this for my journaling, right? If you find it helpful, good for you. Okay, so let's move on to Forex. Let's move on to Forex DXY. Okay, so for DXY, as I was anticipating last week, we're gonna have a reversal. So why is that so? Because we have traded into a higher time frame PDRA, and that is the monthly fair value gap. Okay, and because we have an unfilled fair value gap above, and then in addition to that, we have equal highs on the daily and on the weekly as well. So I'm anticipating price to come back up into this area here before considering a shift lower. Okay, for the XY. Okay, so let's this here, and at the same time, this we are trading inside this breaker. Okay, so higher probability of DXY going up when it reaches the levels below this sell side. Okay, I'm looking this sell side as a turtle soup. All right, so what would validate my idea here? If price can trade above this current CB that was created, okay, this year, and then I'm anticipating this to be used as a inverse fair value gap to go higher. Okay, does it have to come back down and dig inside this weekly fair value gap? It can, right? I would prefer that to happen, but since it has decided not to, and we have daily SMT to confirm that as well, right? SMT, what do I mean? So when you take a look at DXY compared to the foreigns, when you look at the euro here, euro made a higher high, whereas the dollar index did not make a lower low. Okay, and on the British pound, it did not make a higher high as it should with the euro. So that is a first validation of a smart money reversal, right? ICT calls it the smart money technique or smart money tool. So this indicates a strong reversal is gonna occur, and that is what we are having right now, right? Stronger retracement as anticipated. So I think the lows are in for DXY. Okay, That's my bias. Okay, it lines up nicely with the indices as well, because I'm leaning bearish on indices next week. So it means that I'm anticipating at the same time dollar to rally stronger, which would in turn cap the indices going higher. Okay, it caps the freedom of indices going higher. All right. So yes, to me, this profile is basically seek and destroy, right? Creating higher highs and lower lows, and then eventually it manipulates down, right? That is your Judas swing, and then it's gonna distribute higher. You can see it as the power of three: accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution higher. Okay, so that is what I'm anticipating for the dollar heading into the third quarter of the year. Okay. All right, so having dollar bias in, let's move on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin. Right. Sorry, I loaded this on the wrong chart. I mean, on the wrong template. Let me just close out the ones that I'm not using. Okay, let's Bitcoin on this template here. Should have the levels. Right. Okay. So if I'm anticipating dollar to go higher, that means we are quite problematic for Bitcoin to rally. Okay, so with this in mind, right now I am much preferring dollar to sort of like give a consolidation, just so that the other um, assets can move higher a little bit before the dollar sets in the real expansion higher, and then the assets denominated in dollar would eventually, move lower. Okay, so Bitcoin 32,000 still stands as my target, and this will be the turtle soup sell. Okay, turtle soup short, right? It can reach up as high as 35 and even 37 because it's all within the breaker. Okay, this is an inefficiency, right? So I think it's on a monthly chart. Let me just check. Yeah. So this inefficiency right here is a monthly fair value gap, and it's within this breaker here. So everything is within this breaker. Okay. The PD arrays are all within this breaker. So the highest it can go, yes, 37, but I think that should cap the move, right? I would much prefer that it does not fill up entirely, right? Maybe just tack into the mean threshold of this or the opening price of this breaker here. I mean, not opening, but closing price of the breaker here, and then we just reverse. Okay, that is what I'm anticipating for Bitcoin. But first, let us focus on the longs into 32,000. Okay, so because Bitcoin, I mean, crypto in general tends to have a longer than usual consolidation, as you can see right here, here, and here, before you get some sudden spike move in either direction. Okay, so what I'm anticipating for Bitcoin, it's retracements into this fair value gap. Okay, and we have a order block here. We also have breaker. This is a breaker. Okay, you have this low, lower low, and then the high that made the low, and then the up close candle here. So this is a breaker as well. So I'm anticipating support in this fair value gap here, and then it's gonna rally higher, take out this buy stops here. That is what I'm anticipating for Bitcoin. Okay, right. So let's say I do not have any positions in crypto, and I'm wanting to go for longs. I right here I would not recommend going into this area here. I mean, even though your invalidation is right here, usually I do not trade the last leg. Okay, this is the last leg. If you're here and then it trades back into this area, this is still acceptable, right? You still have like, I mean, for crypto, you want higher returns based on the risk. Okay, so right here to here, it's 30%, right? But if you take right the best entry here to here, it's 15% is half. So technically, I don't think it's worth it, okay, to engage in that risk because for all you know, crypto can just give you a nice crash that you're unable to react to, and then that would leave a huge drawdown in your account. Okay, so that's for Bitcoin. Let's go for gold. Gold, right? So for gold, because we are anticipating higher for dollar index, I mentioned that this level could be a sort of speed bump, you know. So if you're long here, it's better to take some profits right here. Okay, this is a speed bump. Okay, this is a CB. If price respects this CB like it does right here, right? Just look at the weekly candle. So that means I'm anticipating some form of retracements either into this fair value gap, or if dollar is to give no form of retracements before the rally, then we're gonna head over to this south side and maybe completely fill up this inefficiency down here. Okay, and then maybe from there we go higher if dollar is able to complete its move into the monthly fair value gap, right? But I don't trade gold. I only analyze it. Okay, I think it's quite fun, right? So yeah. Other than this, invalidation for gold would be right here. Okay, if gold trades below here, then my eyes would jump into this south sides right here. Okay, that would be the, what do you call it? ICT's 2022 mentorship model. So you have swing high, higher high, three drives higher. Okay, taking out a higher time frame liquidity, and then it's gonna swing below this low, and then this will be your breaker. Okay, breaker into the original consolidation that led to the high here. Okay, pretty simple for gold. Basically, it's what I see. It's it trading inside this dealing range. So sell anything in premium, take profits in discount or at the extremes, range extremes. Okay, that's for gold, right? Other than this, I'm not going further, right? Even though I have a higher time frame for gold, right? If you just take a look at the monthly chart, you'll be able to see this is where gold is right now, right? So if you want, you can use this dealing range, right? Right here, sort of like having distributions above this old high here, and then it's gonna come back down. Okay, so eventually, I think it's gonna come back down. Okay, but this is a super higher time. I mean, super high time frame. It's gonna take really long for this to play out. Okay, so I prefer to stick to the weekly time frame for gold analysis. Right, I don't trade it. Okay, I don't trade it. I just do analysis. Okay, so next, let's move on to individual stocks. Let's start with, as always, retail's favorite, Tesla. Right. So previously I mentioned that these highs are probably going to be attacked, but I think we're going to have some form of retracements before we attack this high, right? So I think this is a little bit too clean, okay? And then you have this here, validates this as retail's resistance, okay? So everybody's going to jam their stop loss down here if they shorted down here, okay? Or this high here, right? So what am I anticipating for Tesla? I would be looking at this inversion fair value gap here, okay? Even though this is a huge inefficiency for 3 weeks straight, right? I will use the low of this inversion and I will look at this breaker here as well. Okay, you have a lower low, right? Lower lows, and then the high that made the low. Same thing here, breaker. This breaker was never tested here. Okay, and then we have an inefficiency right here that encapsulates the breaker. So price can come down all the way down here, and then we rarely back up. Okay, so for Tesla, this is what I'm anticipating. Okay, so all the way down here and then higher, right? Based on the weekly candle itself, right? Super bearish right here. So yeah, anticipating a strong retracement for Tesla. Okay, so where's the invalidation, right? If it trades below the breaker, okay, closes below the breaker, then you have your invalidation. Trades below here, that's your that's your strong invalidation. I think this low should hold if prices continue higher. Okay, if this low doesn't hold, then we shall see how the candles paint moving into this low, right? But for now, let's stick to the higher time frame. Order flow, still bullish, right? Retracements and then higher. That is for Tesla. Next, let's move forward to Palantir. For Palantir, um, same thing for Tesla. Okay, we have a low here and a lower low here. The high that made the low. Same thing here. I'm anticipating a breaker. This is the breaker that I'm anticipating. Inversion fair value gap, and then we have an inefficiency right here. So if you take from this last swing high to this, I mean swing low to swing high, 50% discount is right within this area here. So for Palantir, if you want to buy, right, I think this area is a good buy, and then your invalidation would be $7.28, right? If it starts to close below this breaker here, what's the level? This is your soft invalidation, right? $8.89, right? Because if it's really bullish, I don't think it should cover the entire range of the breaker. Okay, that's just me, right? That's based from my own experience. So yeah, for Palantir here, and then I think higher, right? We have a higher time frame breaker right here, and then we have lots of inefficiencies right here. Okay, I think it's gonna make the retails jam their stop loss here. This is a swing high, okay, and then this swing high fails to take out this swing high here, right? So it kind of validates this retail resistance supply. No, what do they call it? Support resistance level. Yes. So yeah, I'm anticipating this to be traded through. So let's see how we trade lower. Okay. So when do I anticipate the reversal to happen? Right. I think around September to October, where we usually find the lows of the years form in um, seasonal tendencies. Okay, because this year we did not have that seasonal tendency, so I'm anticipating not a yearly low, but more like a what do you call that? A consolidation low that gives you a perfect um, what they like to call the retest entry. Okay, into higher prices moving into the end of the year. Okay, moving into Q4 of 2023 and into Q1 of 2024. Okay, but that is a little bit far-fetched. We shall see it level by level, week by week. Okay, so this is for Palantir. Okay, so next we have um let's go for Meta. Let's go for Meta. I think that's really nothing much about Meta, right? It's way too bullish. So Meta, I would prefer to use the monthly time frame. I'll be focusing on this inversion fair value gap on the monthly time frame because for Meta, monthly time frame seems much clearer. So this area here, I'm looking price to find some support here, and then we trade higher, taking out the all-time highs. That is what I'm anticipating for Meta. Okay. because right here it took out quite a number of swing lows, and then with this price action here, you can see that this is a turtle soup setup. So turtle soups usually takes out the high that made the low. Okay, so that's my focus for meta. Right, let's just highlight that level. Okay, lastly, I'm gonna cover for the last US stock, right? I'm gonna cover what was the one that I covered before? Oh, Nvidia. No, Nvidia is nothing. Apple. Let's go for Apple. Oh, AAPL. Okay. So for Apple, yeah, I'm still looking for Apple to reach into this area here. Okay, I'll just quickly go through. Okay, Apple, I'm still looking for this level here. Okay, for Nvidia, still looking for 500. Right. For stocks that goes beyond their all-time highs, right? Technically, those that are in price discovery, I use projection levels. Okay, so these are the projection levels that I'm looking at, right? So maybe some form of like turtle soup. I think this low here is higher probability, right? But then again, you can see that we have three drives higher, so that is usually a topping pattern, right? So let's say if it's gonna top here, right? 481. I'm gonna try to find the projections, okay? 481. 481. Right. I don't seem to find any on the weekly. Even with the bodies, nothing. Alright, so nothing yet. So I'm still looking at 500, but I don't like the highs here. Okay, I don't like the triple tops here. Three drives higher. Okay, the name is three drives higher. Okay, I do not like this price action. And furthermore, it's above a old high. Okay, to me this is quite bearish. Okay, not sure it's gonna reach here, but this is quite bearish, right? Let's see how it trades. Never buy stocks in price discovery. Okay, that's my rule of thumb. I do not buy anything above all-time highs. Okay, that's like a committing an account. Okay, I can't say that word, but that's just a really bad move to play. All right, so let's move on to the last asset class. I think it's gonna be the China stocks. Okay, Chinese stocks. Let's start off with HMI. Oh, no, not HMI, but HSI. Okay, so yep, as I've mentioned last week, seek and destroy profile, consolidation profile, nothing to trade here. Okay, just look at the PD array that's this CB here. I mean, right now it's a balanced price range, but just look at price trading through back and forth. It's not wanting to go to either direction. Okay, so this is a low probability market. But as I've mentioned before, higher time frame, I prefer it to move lower. Okay, so for HSI, um, Baba, same thing here. We have the three drives higher. Okay, three drives higher within a inefficiency and a balanced price range. Right, so I don't like this at all. If this low is the break, all right, if this low is to be traded below, I am strongly leaning bearishness for Chinese stocks. Okay, This is the last area of defense, in my opinion. Mean threshold of the monthly order block. If price is to lose this level here, means closing below this level, then we'll look for sell side. Okay, right. There are a lot of people that are not believing when I say that Baba is gonna go to 57.20, but we shall see. Okay. Um, just give you. I mean, I'm gonna put you into perspective. Okay, so why did this low? I mean, why did the old low not was left unattacked? Okay, on the monthly chart, this is a low here. Okay, why is the low left untapped? Right, and then from there the price rallied higher. When retail see this, they're gonna chase the price. Okay, think that okay, time for reversal. This is the support. This is a strong support. Okay, Baba's never going below 60. Never. Because once it hits 60, it's going to rebound. I'm going to buy everything here and I'm going to jam my stop loss down here. Okay, anything trading below here, I'm going to cut my losses. Okay, because right below here, this is price discovery on the lower time. I mean, on the lower end of the price. So, in my opinion, the lows were left untagged because it wants to engineer more liquidity below the lows here. Okay, this is a giant, huge pool of liquidity down here, right? For smart money to pair if it ever wants to run higher in the future. Okay, so what makes the most sense, right? Is that in order for smart money to buy, they must have willing sellers. So who's gonna sell to the smart money? Obviously, the ones that have their stop losses below these lows here. And that's how they accumulate their long positions. And then they run against all the retails thinking that, okay, Baba is going to break lower. We're going to sell everything. We're going to short Baba down here. And then smart money just run through their faces. Okay, so this is what I'm anticipating, right? On the higher time frames. Okay, basically what I'm looking right now is that price is unwilling to move higher, and on a monthly time frame it has yet to prove that it wants to close above this volume imbalance right here, right? And at the same time it has shown unwillingness to move away from this weekly fair value gap. So this is more like a consolidation before another expansion. So before we even start to anticipate the next expansion, we would not call the bottom. Okay, on the macro time frame and the macro order flow, price is bearish. You do not call bottoms, especially when you have a bottom like this. Okay, which is why I'm inclined to think that Baba is going to run below 57.2, right? People who have traded Baba or who is holding Baba do not want to see the price here. They do not want to see the price here, and they when I raise this argument, like not argument, when I raised the point that Baba is going below 57.2, they were quite aggressive about it. Okay, you have people saying that I'm mad, all this stuff. I mean, they're just angry, frustrated, or maybe in denial that this is even possible. I like this. I like that kind of sentiment, which means that I'm most probably right, because majority loses in the markets against smart money. Okay, that's how they get to earn their keep. Right, so you have to be a contrarian to what everyone sort of believes or have their biases. So yeah, everybody's trying to trade Baba, trying to hold, buy, accumulate Baba right here, hoping for a mean reversion. So basically, what they're saying is, I do not know how they evaluate mean reversion, but I see this term, um, thrown out quite a lot on YouTube videos and whatnots. So basically, my interpretation of mean reversion is basically just you take the swing high and you take the swing low, highest high and the lowest low, and then you find the 50%. That is your mean reversion, okay? Because everything eventually returns back to equilibrium, okay? That's my idea of mean reversion. So mean reversion could mean that Baba would be trading back up into 188.26, but I think that that is very unlikely until the lows are purged. Okay, so as long as the lows are not purged, I'm not thinking up here. I am looking below the lows and at 47.84. Okay, that's my bias for Baba. Let's take a look at HSI on the weekly. I just wanted to check if there is SMT. Okay, on the weekly charts. Okay, let's plot Baba over it. Compare Baba. Oh, I should have selected new pane, and then I'm gonna choose candlesticks, style, candles. Shit, I need to change the colors. Okay. Okay, so now we have Baba plotted against HSI. Okay, so right here you can see that there is there any SMT or is there none? Right, so there's SMT here. Okay, HSI made a higher high, whereas Baba made a lower low. So Baba is technically more bearish as compared to HSI. And if HSI is to move slightly lower, Baba is going to move exponentially lower. Okay, so let's see if there is any near-term SMTs. Right, you have one here, this high as compared to HSI. And then you have this high here. Okay, Baba is taking out highs, whereas HSI is not. Okay, the high of this candle here, it's, oh my gosh, can't see. The high of this candle here, it's 20185. The high here is 20205. The high here is, oh, actually it did make a high. So 2191. Yeah, high here. Right, so no SMT here, but there is a SMT here. So higher high on Baba, lower highs on HSI. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, I have no experience plotting or analyzing Chinese markets, but on a higher time frame, they tend to move. The theory, not mine, but the theory tends to work. Okay, so yeah, bearishness anticipation for Chinese equities or Chinese stocks, whatever you call them. Yep, so that is for Baba. Okay, gonna close out here, and then lastly, last two. Okay, last two. Gonna go for JD and Neo, EV car maker. Okay, so let's see. So far, it's not invalidated just yet. Right, I need a close above this mean threshold to invalidate the bearish idea. Okay, retail see this as what? Heads and shoulders. I would like to trade against it. Okay, heads, shoulders, long. Right, let's see if it happens. Okay, I personally do not trade. I'm just analyzing it for fun, similar to gold. Okay, so still bearish. I like the low here, 19. Right, but let's take a look at this low here instead. Okay, this low here and this low here, 25 and 30 for JD. Okay, Okay, lastly, right, just running through. Lastly, we have new, new. Looking at this inefficiency right here. Um, Price traded back up is this. So far, nothing. I don't see anything just yet. Okay, and I think that's it for this live stream. I hope you find this helpful, and if you do leave a like or a comment. Um, wait. I think I pressed something. Right now, I just have to reset the screen here. Okay. So I think I'm gonna end the stream here. All right. If you have any questions, do leave down in the comment section, and I'll see you guys next week. So do remember, next week we have FOMC. Nothing is high probability before FOMC, right? After FOMC, everything's gonna run nicely. So let's see how Monday and Tuesday trades heading into FOMC on Wednesday, 2 p.m. New York local time, right? And with this, I will be signing out and have a great weekend. Enjoy the weekend. And next week, we take money from the markets again, right? And I will